Deborah and Cathy, I was talking to my husband the other day about you restaurant owners. You know how much joy you bring to us regular people because we get to go to a restaurant, relax, have conversation, you serve us. And I look around, I'm thinking, that's got to be a lot of work for you, Deborah and Cathy, co-owners of Benny Thunders. And welcome to my podcast. I just admire you for all the hard work. And I need to ask you both, what drives you? It's got to be a passion, a love passion.
Well, a passion for drinking, maybe.
That'll work.
I guess for me, I really, and I think I speak for Deborah, also, we really enjoy the conversations that we have with our customers that come in. And we've been around for a little while, since August of last year, and we now have regulars, and we know them by their first names and and their dogs' names. And I think for us, just being able to provide this concept to them, and the majority of them, they enjoy it. They like to come in, have a conversation. It's not we're not one of those dingy, darkly lit places. We're, most of our doors open up, for the outside elements. So, and there's a lot of light, and people can sit and have a drink or two, nice conversations. And so anyway, I think just the being able to create that atmosphere has really driven us and helping us enjoy what it is we're doing now.
Truly, I hear that from people who own restaurants that I've had on the podcast. You definitely have a passion. You just love bringing people together. You enjoy conversation. And so it makes the hard work all worth it. And Deborah, talk a little bit about this concept, the origins of it, and the history of this restaurant.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can go into kind of how we came about this. So it starts off on not the greatest note. In July of 2019, my brother was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a very aggressive form of brain cancer.
Right.
And I came back to kind of help him go through his treatment. But I mean, he went downhill really quickly. Anybody who knows anything about the disease, it's like there's a 9% survival chance rate. So 9% chance of survival. So I ended up I was living in Singapore at the time, and I was working at a corporate job, and I had to take a leave of absence to come look after him. And then the pandemic hit like 6 months later, and then I got kind of stuck in the States. And then he ended up passing away a year after the diagnosis.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really hard. It was something I never expected to deal with, but I guess everybody is in that boat. You don't expect these things. But anyway, so I got stuck here, but Cathy and I had reconnected, and we were kind of in each other's circle during the pandemic, and so we were meeting every day. There was a few cases of wine involved, but we were just like, what do we want to do? She had been working in steel, but wasn't working at the time. I was on a leave of absence, and I didn't want to go back, and neither did she. And so we were like, we should just start our own business. And we threw around a few ideas, and then she came up with the idea for self-pour. And we loved it because, we were going out a lot, once everything opened back up, but everybody was short-staffed and we're waiting forever. And we're like, if it's self-pour, all you do is check people in, and then then they can serve themselves. So there's no waiting in line or except when you get checked in, if we're really busy, but so not a whole lot of waiting. And then lastly, the name came from, my brother's name was Ben. And his favorite guitar player was Johnny Thunders, and his friends called him Benny Thunders, like as a nickname. And we just thought it was a great name for a bar. So we went with it. And we also have some of his guitars up on the wall. He left me this gigantic collection of really nice guitars. And so I put some of them up on the wall. So that's kind of the name and the history.
That is amazing. I love that. So it kind of honors your brother, and you've had such success in doing this self-pour. And where did this idea, this was Cathy's idea?
Well, we knew we wanted to do something self-pour. We knew there were these machines out there where you can put bottles of wine in, and you can pour yourself several ounces. So we started researching that, And then I came across this technology called Pour My Beer. And Deborah and I, we talked about it and was like, well, wouldn't it be great just to kind of scale it? Of course, it's Texas. So scale it to about 60 taps, and just have a bunch of wine and beer. And we tossed around the idea of having hard liquor, but this is Deborah's and my first venture together, and especially in the hospitality industry. So, we were like, okay, let's just do beer and wine. And and then from there, it was just kind of like, well, this is a great idea, because as Deborah mentioned, we would go to places, they were so short staffed. And I think it's an average 7-minute wait if you're in line with somebody with a bartender. So, you start to get 5 people deep and you're already waiting in line for 35 minutes. Whereas at our bar, like she said, you come in, you check in, and then we give you a card that will work the wall. And then it's just pay as you pour, and you go up, you can try anything. And so that was kind of our idea on how to get this thing together and running.
Amazing. Okay, I have a question. First of all, the types of wines and beers that you serve, and how many hours a day do you two work to make this thing work out?
Well, a lot, but not too many. A lot, but not too many. I mean, there are the behind the scene things. We have to make sure we like to make sure that we have like our beer, wine, not so much as our beer rotation. There's so many craft beers, even here in the city of Houston, and they're coming up with seasonal items and stuff for the spring, and there's stuff for the winter, and so there is that. And it's a hard job that Deborah and I have to do to taste everything that's coming. It's the tastings.
But someone's got to do it. So.
So yeah, I mean, obviously there's there's the back end, right? There's the finances, and then there's the ordering, to make sure that we don't have empty kegs on the wall, that there's always something new coming up. So yeah, I mean, it's a few, but I would say it's not horrible.
And what about the wines? Go ahead.
And I was just say, because we do love what we're doing.
Yeah.
So is it really work?
It's part of your life, question. Right? Yeah. What about the wine selections? You have to do the beer tasting, the craft beer. How are you selecting your wines?
It's the same thing. There is somebody that we're working with really closely on our wine selection, and they don't change as much, because it's a Chardonnay, right? And of course it's the Chardonnay, and there can be a Chardonnay from different regions. And again, the same thing, when we think that the wines are getting a little stagnant, we will have another wine tasting, as in, for instance, if it's a red wine, we do have 6 specific taps that are devoted to red wine, only because red wine is kept at a certain temperature. So, so if something we see that is becoming stagnant, it's not moving, then we'll go in and say, okay, what can we put in, to replace this wine when it's empty. So.
And I'm thinking, I drive around the country, the hill country a lot. We've got so many vineyards, so many wineries. Do they come to you and say, ladies, please, would you start pushing our wines? Or do you guys have your set selection? Do you go to Oregon, or what is your philosophy when it comes to wines?
Right now, we are working with a local distributor, but we are a bit more adventurous, because a lot of the beer, just like local breweries who self-distribute, will come directly to us.
Right.
We don't get that so much with the wines, but we do want to start taking, a few adventures and trying out different regions. The only thing is, we just need to make sure that it's served in kegs, because that's how the self pour works. Is it has to be delivered in a keg and not in a bottle.
I see. That is just fascinating. So you've been open for almost a year.
Yes.
And pardon?
Since August. So about
since August. Okay. And how has your life changed? You were both in the corporate world, and now you're doing, your passion project. How has life changed for you ladies?
I am just happier. I mean, I'm just happier. I'm not, there's not so much, there's, obviously responsibilities and things you have to do, but you're only answering to yourself and your customers. as opposed to like a boss and annoying coworkers and you know what I mean? So I mean, for me, I'm just a lot happier and my schedule is a lot more flexible. I've gotten, a lot more fit since the pandemic of being, totally sedentary and eating too much. And so for me, that's different for me.
Excellent. Excellent. What about you, Cathy?
So I'm wearing sneakers a lot more than what I used to. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time I actually put on a pair of heels, and yeah, it's like Deborah said, it's there's so much flexibility, in what we can do. It's great to have a friend and a coworker like Deborah, because for us, it's almost like a yin and a yang. It worked out really well. And so the flexibility is there. We hang out at the bar like we used to, at other places. And I don't know how we do it. But we always have something to talk about. Of course, there are these 2 days. We're closed on Monday, Tuesday at the moment. And so it's rare that we even talk. Either we're sending cat videos to each other or something like that. That's the extent to our conversations on our days off. But yeah, it's fun to go to. I remember like turning the corner, going to my job and going, oh my gosh, I got to go into work. It's like, do I really want to go? Now it's just kind of like, hey, let's get going. What are we doing now? Who are we meeting? That's new. And yeah, so that's it. I think it's upped our level of happiness. So
it's interesting that you say that, because my boss, Eddie Martini, he's such a great guy. And he says, every time we have these meetings, he says, I never go to work with that attitude. Oh, I have to go to work. He goes, I'm so excited to go to work, to find a job that you love to go to. Really is. I think that's what life should be. And you two ladies have hit the jackpot with that. And yet, Deborah, you kind of had to go through a little bit of tragedy in order to get to this point in your life. It really is incredible.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made this decision on my own. It was like something had to force me out of my comfort zone to do it. And I'm so glad I did it. I just know I wouldn't have done it on my own. So I think things happen for a reason,
Well, tell us about the restaurant. Now, you're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
What are your hours, and are there any snacks?
Oh, Cathy, you do it. You go.
Okay. So first off, we are now talking about maybe opening Monday, Tuesday, but at this time we're closed Monday, Tuesday. We're open Wednesday and Thursday from 3 to 10, Friday and Saturday from 11 to 11, and Sunday from 11 to 8. We, excuse me, we have a food truck, and sometimes food trucks on rotation. So there is food there for people who want to eat. Because again, it is our first venture together, and we didn't want to do the food quite yet. And so we thought, with the food trucks and as prevalent as they are in the city of Houston, we've been able to get, somebody out there to help do that. And at least to provide food for people that want food.
Our city is so rich with different types of foods. We're so lucky. I come from New York, and I'm just like, I made it to Houston finally, and I just love the food. I love the options. What do you have planned for the future, or are you just kind of like settling in right now, loving life?
We're really getting ready to, we've kind of been just trying to make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to be working at the bar. Right. And now that we've pretty much have all that dialed in, we're now working on events. We're looking to do something for the what is it, the Memorial Day weekend that's coming up. Yeah. We've got moms and mimosas this Sunday for Mother's Day. So $5 for mimosas for moms that come in while supplies last. Then we have another couple of events that we want to do a home brewers competition. We want to do some sort of like movie nights, and one thing that we do that's actually going really strong at the moment, we have a book club at the bar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's awesome. You should come join it. It's we didn't intend it to be all ladies, but it is all ladies.
Hysterical. We've been promoting the movie book club, The Next Chapter. Girls Trip to Italy, yeah, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, Mary Steenburgen, and Diane Keaton. We've been giving away $500 for that. And I know. And it looks hysterical women, beer, and wine, and a book club. I mean, come on.
Exactly. And at travel. Oh my God.
You guys, you sound like you're having too much fun. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your world. You inspire so many women who are just like, I don't want to go to my job anymore. But I know it couldn't have been easy doing what you did, but you persevered and you had each other to kind of do it together.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So
That
lucky.
really helped. I could never have done this on my own either. I just couldn't have done it on my own. No way.
Well, two different
Ditto.
personalities created something really beautiful. Do you have an Instagram or something that we can check out and learn more about you?
Absolutely. We have our website is bennythunders.com. Our Instagram and Facebook is Benny Thunders HTX. And yeah, follow us. We mostly post on Instagram the events that are going on, things that are coming up for the weekend. We do have some live music on the weekends as well, weather permitting. So have everybody follow us, come by, take a look. We're at 605 Columbia Street, right off of White Oak in the Heights. And come
The
out,
hot
have
area.
fun.
You ladies have
Yep.
hit the gold. You've hit the jackpot with the gold mine of a location because everyone loves the Heights. So
We love
And
it 'cause
we-
it's
and we're-
right off the bike path. And so we get a
Mhm.
lot of people coming in, with their dogs, they're walking or they're cycling. We have a ton of bike racks. So that's a bit more of the crowd that we attract, is just people who are out walking and come in for a couple of
Beautiful.
drinks, or people who live in the neighborhood, so it's been a
Yep,
great
and very
crowd. Yeah.
Yep, and we're very dog friendly. We have water bowls and treats. And as a matter of fact, we've got dogs that are like, "Oh, look." And they'll like pull their owners to come into the bar because
Love
they
that.
know.
Party.
They know. Yep.
well, it's so cool. It's a great job. And boy, I tell you, you persevere and you can finally find your dream job. And we thank you both so much for sharing it with us. We love to feature people who delight the community. And I think you two hit that. Definitely check the box.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, thank you so much. And we really do appreciate you having us on.
Thank
Thank
you both,
you.
Deborah and Cathy. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day. And thank you for spending some time with us.
Sure. And you have to stop by, we'll
Absolutely.
buy you a drink.
Say again?
You have to stop by, we'll buy you a drink.
Absolutely. I'm a red wine girl. I would love to check it out. Thank you.
Perfect.
We've got some nice red wines on the wall that you will enjoy.
Thank you.